Star Trek Strange New World Season 3, Episode 3 Ending Explained. Captain Pike learns Dr. M'Benga's Klingon sins. Warning, spoilers ahead for Star Trek. Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 3, Star Trek. Strange New Worlds has never shied away from exploring the moral gray areas of its characters, and Season 3, Episode 3 might be its most haunting installment yet. What begins as a tense-away mission turns into a deeply personal reckoning for Dr. Joseph M'Benga, one that forces Captain Pike to finally confront the horrifying truths buried in his doctor's past. By the episode's end, the line between healer and killer blurs completely, and Pike's idealism faces one of its greatest tests. The episode's premise. A Klingon peace mission turns personal. The episode opens with the USS Enterprise arriving at a Federation outpost to assist in peace negotiations with a Klingon delegation. The war is long over, but old wounds remain, especially for those who lived through the darkest days of the conflict. Among the crew, no one bears those scars more visibly than Dr. M'Benga and Nurse Chapel, both veterans of the brutal Battle of Jegal. Pike, ever the optimist, hopes this mission will reinforce the fragile peace between the Federation and the Klingon Empire. But the arrival of General Dactor, a decorated Klingon commander celebrated as a hero of Jegal, reopens old wounds for M'Benga. To everyone else, Dactor represents progress. To M'Benga, he represents everything wrong with the idea of forgiveness without accountability. Throughout the first half of the episode, tension builds as M'Benga struggles to contain his emotions. His encounters with Dactor are quiet but electric, each one dripping with restrained fury and old trauma. The writing subtly mirrors Strange New Worlds Season 2's Under the Cloak of War. But this time, the focus is on what happens after the secret comes out. Flashbacks reveal the truth. The Butcher of Jegal. Through flashbacks, we revisit the horrors of Jegal. But with a twist, this time, we see the side of the war M'Benga has tried to forget. He was once part of a classified Black Ops program codenamed Operation Whisper, an unofficial initiative where Starfleet medical officers were forced to serve as field assassins behind enemy lines. The flashbacks are raw and uncomfortable. M'Benga, still wearing the insignia of a healer, silently infiltrates Klingon camps to eliminate high-value targets. One particular scene, where he kills a wounded Klingon soldier after patching him up, encapsulates the moral nightmare he endured. And then comes the gut punch. General Dactor wasn't just another enemy. He was directly responsible for the massacre of a Federation refugee camp, an atrocity M'Benga witnessed firsthand. The Federation never punished Dactor, instead welcoming him into peace talks years later. That's why M'Benga despises him, not out of revenge, but because peace has erased accountability. Pike's discovery. You were there, weren't you? The episode's climax unfolds when Dactor confronts M'Benga privately in sickbay, seeking to make amends. But his version of repentance rings hollow. He calls the war unnecessary madness, reducing thousands of deaths to strategic missteps. M'Benga, trembling but controlled, reminds him of the innocent children burned in the refugee tents. Dactor responds not with guilt, but with arrogance, claiming warriors like them will never be understood by peaceful men. Moments later, Dactor collapses, dead, from what appears to be a fatal stab wound. Only two people were in the room, M'Benga and Chapel. When Pike rushes to sickbay, the tension is palpable. M'Benga insists Dactor attacked first, and the evidence, a Klingon blade coated in Dactor's blood, supports his account. But Pike, intuitive as ever, sees something in his doctor's eyes. It's not fear. It's release. The final act plays out almost wordlessly. Pike visits M'Benga in his quarters later that night. You were there, weren't you? Pike asks softly, referring to Jegal. M'Benga doesn't deny it. Instead, he answers, some wounds don't heal, Captain. They just learn to hide. The moral paradox. Can a healer kill? The genius of this episode lies in its moral ambiguity. We never actually see M'Benga stab Dactor, but every frame implies it. The camera lingers just long enough to make us complicit in his silence. Pike's struggle isn't about whether M'Benga killed the Klingon. It's about whether he should punish him if he did. Starfleet's code demands transparency, but Pike knows the Federation built its peace on the backs of people like M'Benga, who sacrificed their souls in secret. If justice was never served for Jegal, what right does Pike have to enforce it now? In the final moments, Pike logs the incident as an act of self-defense. The camera lingers on his face, torn between duty and compassion. It's a subtle echo of his earlier line, "We all want peace, But sometimes peace asks for silence. The unspoken truth is devastating. Pike knows Mabenga killed Dactor, and he's choosing to let it go. The ending's message: the cost of peace. As the credits roll, the episode fades out on Mabenga watching the stars from the observation deck. His reflections split across the glass. Healer on one side, killer on the other. The symbolism is clear. The Federation's peace is fragile, held together not just by diplomacy, but by secrets too heavy to speak aloud. This episode doesn't celebrate revenge. It mourns it. Mabenga's act, while cathartic, doesn't bring closure.